is 10:01. Let's see, everyone is in attendance. Barry and Ellie.
Here.
And Lucy and Janet.
You're here.
And June,
Okay.
all accounted for. Okay, now, do we want to try to approve minutes? Is everyone okay with what they've read?
We are on
Yeah.
now, right?
Are there any changes to the 1:13:23 minutes?
No, I remember reading those before.
Okay, and then the site visit on 1:13. Any comments on the 1:20 minutes when we declared,
The site visit isn't 1:13.
is it 1:20?
What's the date of those?
The
Regular meeting was the 13th?
regular
Yeah.
meeting was the 13th.
Yeah, and the site visit and
Is
the
the
other two,
20th.
the other one are on the same
I
day.
don't, oh, here we go.
aren't they?
And one
No,
was,
they aren't.
no, one was on the 13th.
No, we adjourned and we went right to the site at 12:15,
Oh, all right,
okay?
all right.
That's right,
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
never mind.
And then, so anything on the 1:20 minutes, which is when we declared,
That was the short meeting.
yep,
Yeah.
we declared historical significance for 136 Central.
Move to approve 3 sets of minutes.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Aye. Great. Okay, I worked on the balances for the CPA funding and the Highland Commons Cultural Funds. And I sent the statement to you all last night, but I don't expect that you would have read it, did you? But the upshot is that for the CPAC funding that is for the Bullard House rehab and the architectural services, engineering and design, et cetera, we've spent $4,453.96 out of our $200,000.
What was that number again?
I'll just give this to you,
Oh, okay,
Jan,
that'd be
so-
great.
yeah. So our balance is 195,546.04. And that those payments to Mogul, to Dan Barton's company, were four different invoices. We didn't have an invoice for January, and he started the invoicing in September. Nothing really happened with Dan in January, so we don't have a bill
Yeah.
to pay, but we will soon for February. The other CPA funding was for, digital imaging, and we have $2,000 left out of 5. We paid EverPresent to digitize the inventory notebooks, the early ones, and then we paid Mark Mendoza, who's a product photographer, $2,500. So that's why, so that was 3,000, so we have 2,000 left. The Highland Commons money was a little more complicated to figure out, but basically we have $11,780.44 in that account, and that is for Bullard House renovations.
Excuse me.
And this, you'll see this, I noticed that when I looked at my copy, that I needed to download it to have it print out properly. So if it looks strange, just download it and print it if you want to print it.
Okay.
June,
I couldn't even
does
open it,
something
though.
like this go in the, do I attach these to the minutes, or do we not?
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
attach that to
okay,
the minutes,
yeah.
yeah.
Also, you can, it should be printable if you download it. Gmail sometimes, I've noticed, unless you make a PDF out of it, which at that point, it was pretty late. I was,
Does it come out as a read-only? Is that what's happening?
PDF?
No, when you do it and you say you can't print. Excuse me. Is it because it,
No, I could print it fine.
oh, okay, all right.
It's just that,
Because
Well-
James was showing me how to deal with it if it comes out as a read-only so that you can't even open it. Sometimes the
Oh.
attachments.
oh,
Yeah, see, that was what, I wasn't able to open mine yesterday.
Yeah, and there's I can tell you, we don't have to necessarily do it right here, but I can show you, I think.
I mean, I know you can enable it, but,
Yeah, you can enable it really, really easily.
all right, we're cool.
Yeah. I can show you.
okay.
Let's keep moving.
Okay, so under Bullet House, we have a few things. The first one is the structural engineer's report. And I will say that I got a chance to speak to Dan on Friday, a week ago, last Friday, and he, he actually favors the second option, which is not to raise the building, but to
Put concrete inside the foundation.
yeah. But anyway, we have scheduled a Zoom meeting next Friday at 11 to talk with both Tom and Dan and ask our questions and get their feedback.
At
So
11, right?
hopefully everyone can Zoom that day. Barry, can you host the Zoom?
That's February 17th?
Yeah.
Yep.
As long as I know which channel we're on and all that.
Yeah, I sent, well, I can print it out for you, but I sent everyone the link, pretty sure.
Okay, well,
Maybe I didn't. If I didn't, I will.
I don't remember, did you send it last night? I didn't look at,
No, well, maybe,
after 9:30.
I've sent so many
I
things.
turned off.
yeah, well,
I was reading the stuff that you said, oh, read this before the meeting, and then I,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, we know about that. I do that all the time.
Yeah, that- Yeah, there were a lot of things to read, so, that we can access just by going to the Historical Commission, but I can send everybody the link. Okay, so is everyone okay with that, to meet virtually with the two main
is it?
helpers?
Dan and-
It's Dan and Tom,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sounds great.
So, questions, if you have questions, I think save it for that, because we'll be paying for that. So you might as well roll it in.
Do our homework before the meeting.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right, that's right. So, so we'll be ready. Now, the next proposal we have, oh, wait a minute, before I move on to that, we have a PSO, which is a professional service order from Tom Lamb, the structural engineer. And he will, he's asked for $900 compensation for what he's done already. And then there's a list of other things that he might do for us if we want him to, and that would cost more. Okay, and Kristen actually signed this.
Kristen?
Yeah, I can't sign it.
Whatever. But we have to look at that.
You haven't seen this?
I don't know. When did it get sent?
Long time ago,
Long time ago?
123.
Oh, okay. I'll look for it.
Yeah, you can have mine, and I'll print another one. It's just his
Yeah.
company's,
Yes. The boilerplate on
that's
being
right.
employed.
the only thing that's customized is the price and what he will do for us if we want him to. Okay,
And that's,
did you get that, Gina?
yes, I did.
Okay,
Yeah, okay.
okay, so the next thing we just barely received yesterday, but I wanted you to have it. And
Yeah, I read it.
Kristen said she would sign it, but I told her that we have to look at it first.
Yes.
Okay, so what any feedback on Ross and what they've proposed to do?
I was a little confused. It was, he had
I made-
quoted 2,200 for the plan. And then is it an additional 3,200 or is it 3,200 inclusive of the additional work?
No, it would be another
So it would be
3,200.
5,400.
If we want him to do the other. But that's, you see, I discussed with Dan the fact that Barry had brought forward the earlier accessibility plan
From the
from the town
we talked
hall.
about.
down
Yeah.
to the back.
Yeah, and so because I wanted him to know about that so that he could think about it. And that's why, when he spoke to Ross, that's why that $3,200 additional thing is included here. And if everyone's in agreement, I can ask Kristen to sign the proposal. But if you have.
I'm not,
if
I
you-
mean, my piece is that I'm not sure what we want them to do. If we, for instance, wanted to eliminate the alternative of putting the parking space out in the front corner, why have them do the work on that?
I thought it was to
It's
do
optional.
the back. I thought when I read it, it sounded like it was, if we wanted to make the access from the parking lot down across the back.
Yeah, we don't have to authorize that now because we don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. I don't have a problem with authorizing the party's already done,
The update,
the general site
Yeah,
update.
yeah.
But
That's the 22?
Yep.
That's 22.
but the other part, I think we want to make sure we know what we want and we refine it a little bit and maybe cut down what it might be.
Lucy, is this all Greek to you? Are
Well,
you-
it is, because I only got this today. I couldn't download it last night to read it, so I'm just kind of looking at this, trying to keep up with you. There's
Well,
got to be some more information
yeah.
elsewhere.
Well, I mean, we should take a minute maybe
Yeah.
just to make sure that you're not being
Well, I
totally
know-
left out of
The
it.
simple answer is, when we started to look at the whole thing, we couldn't find a
Parking.
plan on file. So we had to go back to Ross to
well, we have many plans of
When-
record,
not,
but
When
they're
they-
not topographic, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
When they did the plan for the town hall project, for the elevator project,
Yep,
the part around the bullet house, immediately around the bullet house, was included, but not in great detail, in less detail.
yep.
And so that's what this is making the more detailed survey of the stuff around the
And I
bullet
think
house.
it says in there that because of the work done at the town hall, there's been a lot of changes to the
That's
topography
correct.
there. So they need
That's
to
right.
It's
They need
different.
to update
update it.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can't rely on what we had before, and that's an update. I mean, we're getting some data from them that they've already established, and so it would, if we didn't go to them, it would cost, I mean, presumably it would cost more.
Yep.
yeah. What actually ended up being done at the town hall is different than any of the plans show. Because we eliminated doing the big parking lot in order to fit in our budget for the project at the town hall. And so part of it is to get the current topography on paper.
Yep.
What about the Title V discussion in the third paragraph?
That's interesting. They did the design on the Lindsay septic system, so that's why that's what those papers are.
Yeah, I had those anyway.
We already had them from
Yeah.
in here, didn't we?
Yeah, because Bill Brookings,
Yeah.
he just said, well, let's look at the abutter.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Because we knew the two systems were,
Yeah.
it was part of the same project. The septic, the leach fields were done as one project for the two parties. The construction of it was all done together at once. And so therefore, the plan from one could be valid for that. So I was thinking that, we ought to already have those from in here. Yeah, okay.
So he has Ross has everything that I have,
Yeah,
and I guess he didn't, well, he doesn't have access to our Dropbox, so he probably didn't.
well, he didn't, yeah, I mean, they didn't necessarily know that we had to
Yeah.
access that material otherwise.
So,
Well, I
so,
guess my question is, it's a shared tank, right?
No,
Is it? That's
No,
my
the leach
understanding,
area.
That there was just a, kind of a board between the two of them? Is that not true?
oh, yeah, there's a barrier between the two leach fields.
Oh, the leach fields, okay.
Yeah,
You know which one they were talking about, the neighbor?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, Rebecca, yeah.
Yeah, I do know.
yeah.
I'm just kind of gathering information.
No.
I'm absorbing.
I
at
mean,
this point.
basically, both of them are under the Von Geldern's driveway.
So,
Ours is partially out of it, and partially onto our land, but
so now,
it's,
would the distribution box then be,
they're two
shared?
separate systems,
oh, they're, okay.
two entirely separate
Well,
systems.
they're not entirely separate, Barry. Because we're saying that there's a shared leach field.
Yeah, but it's not one leach field, it's two leach fields side by side, with a barrier between them.
we have an easement agreement to,
Yeah,
Because I guess, my question is, how much benefit would we have gotten? I'm assuming that they had to have a Title V when Faith sold the house to the Geldarts.
yeah, I would imagine they would have.
Title V, we have Title V certification also for the Bullet House in 96, 95 or 6.
Much older, yeah. But I was
But-
thinking the Geldarts would have been much more recent. I didn't know whether
Oh,
that,
you think we should,
I
well,
don't know. I
Do you
don't
have
know
a
what
plan of
benefit it
it?
would be.
yes.
I mean, I have a
It's in the
plan.
Dropbox.
It's in the Dropbox, okay.
Yep, yep.
If
It's
the,
probably in here too.
Yeah.
I don't,
I'll pull it up, I think it's on here.
all I know is that the system was designed for a residential use. And I remember someone we know that used to be on the Board of Health saying, when the town acquired this for the museum, oh, that's really good, because, you know,
Well, there were a lot of
It-
restrictions,
it
right?
was-
That they
it was
couldn't
a-
have a washing machine.
you couldn't have a washing machine, all this stuff. But the point is that domestic use is much greater water use than for a small institutional use like this. And therefore, it means the system should be fine and we shouldn't have problems.
Except it hasn't been used in a while, and I didn't know whether
The
that
big
was-
problem I'm concerned about is that it hasn't been used in a while.
Do you,
And
do you
septic
think,
systems like to be used.
That's correct.
do you think we should ask Eric and Rebecca if they've had they must have had a Title V inspection when they bought.
it, yeah.
Which would be much more recent.
Well, that wouldn't have to do with ours, though.
It wouldn't help us, I guess.
No.
Yeah,
So
so that was my question, is whether that would, give us something, but it sounds like no.
It would, yeah,
But the Title V inspection is essentially you get a contractor that is certified to do those and have them come look at
Yeah,
it.
I just had 2 done.
You just had two. Yeah.
The pro.
Yeah.
Now, I can't tell whether the Title V inspection cost is up above and beyond the 2,200. I guess it would be.
Yeah, probably. I would say probably. But their function in it is limited. I mean, they're just going to help you locate the stuff.
Yeah.
They're not doing the inspection. And we know the location, so.
Yeah. I don't know how much a Title V inspection costs.
Well, I
Well-
think when I did mine, it was like $900.
It was 900
For each
for
one?
one? Okay.
Who did it?
Paul,
Paul?
And that was very recent.
Is this the picture?
Yeah, and that's what I
That was
would, I mean,
May,
that's what
yeah.
I would suggest, is we get one of the local people that does this and do it.
Anybody would like to see this so that you can visualize what
Yep.
they're talking
Yeah.
about?
Oh, yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
pass this computer
Yeah.
around.
Yeah. Yeah, I was,
I just bypassed
I looked at
you.
that
You
last
seem
night.
to know what was going on.
Okay, so
Yeah, I don't know.
They'll send it
I
back.
can tell Kristen that we want her to sign, but that we haven't figured out
Determine the scope of the additional work.
yet.
All right, hang on, let me get that.
And that additional work, Janet, is on the second page. 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. You haven't turned scope. I just like the way you worded that.
Yeah,
Saves me from having to word it.
yep.
And determine the scope of additional work. But she will sign, which is the document that she's going to sign?
It's a proposal. Actually, the document doesn't have,
It's a scope of work document from
yeah,
Ross
it's a proposal.
Associates.
It's
Right.
a PSO, really. It's a proposal for professional services.
Okay, I've got that. Oh, it's coming.
But in this case, the work hasn't started.
My other question is, has Dan reviewed that?
Yes. He got Ross to
Yeah.
move along.
Okay.
Can you believe there are two Dans and they don't put their last initial? I had that happen. I said, they've got to start putting their last initial.
Yeah, Dan Wolf,
Dan
yeah.
Wolf, Tim has huge respect for. I don't know if you guys have worked with Dan Wolf or not, but he's a good guy. He's,
Yeah,
good
that's
one to
great.
Get in with, I think.
Good people.
Yeah, he's done a lot of the work.
Do we need to add his name to our list of contacts?
Yes.
And all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me see if I've got that, so I'll be able to, yeah, then.
Ross is on there, is on our Dropbox contact list, but,
Yeah, but I
but my
didn't-
contact person was Kevin Conover at that
That's
point.
what I saw, yeah.
Yeah,
And then I
yeah.
saw that the letter was somebody different. I thought, oh.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know
this is
whether
the
we-
guy that runs the place
So
now.
this is,
Updated.
so he's the prez. So I'll add him. Actually, any of you can add
Is that,
him.
who are you adding there?
Dan
Dan
Wolf?
Oh, Dan, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what
I wouldn't
thought.
take the other guy off, I just have
Yeah,
an
yeah, because
additional
we
name
might
there.
need to talk to him. Okay, so that takes care of that. And do you want to move to have Kristen sign except for the additional?
I move to approve the scope of work. What's the professional,
The $2,200.
proposal for professional services
PSO, okay.
for the $2,200 amount at this time.
Okay, is there a second?
Second?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimously approved.
I'd just like to make, I do need a little bit of help getting onto the Dropbox because for some reason I'm not able to open it up or find it. I, created my own Dropbox, but I think it's interfering with yours.
Well,
When you click on
But-
her link in her email, it doesn't take you to there?
No,
Well, it has to think about it a little bit and then it pops
Yeah.
out.
I'll have, it's not, and I don't think that I've gotten, I'm missing some of the emails. I've got a link from about a month ago, over a month ago.
Well, I
Are
would-
they, I
we-
send
let-
it to Charter,
Okay, and that's where I get it.
but
But
you're,
we can talk about this later because
we can talk about this outside the meeting,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
need some instruction in the
Oh,
same
good.
department.
It's not just
we'll
me.
have a little Dropbox party.
It's
There we go.
never just you.
I have to do it from my computer. I can't do anything from the phone.
No.
Yeah,
no.
well,
Yeah.
I think the Dropbox is on my phone, but it's too little for my old brain. I did, just before I knew I was going to talk to Dan, I went over the workflow, the preliminary workflow that he put together at least once. I think it was adjusted in October because we had questions.
Yeah.
We went over it pretty well. And,
It's going to be due for another one of mine probably
Yeah.
now.
yep. So I don't know if any of you had a chance to review it and think about what should be changed, but we will need to do that. You might, I don't know if we could take any of Dan's time next week to do that, but we have really done a lot since.
Yeah, we've made progress.
Are you familiar with the workflow chart?
Not yet,
Oh,
but
we'll
I
get
will
you one.
be in a couple weeks. Yeah.
It's pretty tattered, but
That's
anyway.
okay.
Now, is there anything else that has to come out of the boiler house, or is that completely empty?
No,
There's more.
there's mannequins, there's a table saw, there's display materials, lumber.
Yeah, there's a few things, and we'll work on it. We've got to have, it would be good if we could have you come with the truck.
I have little signs on piles of
Yeah.
lumber to tell people.
Take
Yeah.
this and leave this?
Yeah.
I,
But we need to get the highway department to come one more time?
I don't know that we do.
I don't know if we want, I mean,
Oh, well,
scrap
I thought
lumber.
to take stuff to the dump. I didn't.
oh. Well, we
and
may,
some of the lumber, I don't know.
I
we
would
may have some
volunteer-
stuff to throw out.
I would volunteer to go back in there because, which I've been planning to do, and make sure everything is ready for somebody to pick up and take out.
Yeah.
And it's either going to be us or, I have to whisper, Tim
Yeah,
and James.
I haven't gone and dealt with stuff. I need to get back in there and deal with the mannequins
Yeah.
in particular and get them sorted out to go.
Well, if
whatever
you do
place
the
and so forth.
mannequins, I don't mind doing the rest.
Yeah.
I'm just getting it ready. And the other thing is, and this is where I was going to see if I could get some family help, is the attic, the back attic, just to get it. I don't think we need to take all that stuff out because I think it was there to do work with.
Some of it is there.
Yeah,
it's there to
and so
work.
we can leave, we're going to
A
try to
little
get away with
cleanup.
leaving
A
that.
little cleanup.
But I'll clean it up, and
Yeah.
I would be happy to go over and do that. If somebody wants to join me, I can.
I'll,
Accept that
if you need
help.
to, I'll help you if you need another set of hands.
And I need
Okay.
to work in the top attic again.
That one, oh, the
The
weird
stuff that we
way
did
top.
not, the stuff that we did not get out before. And I probably have got to disassemble some of the wainscot that's up there and stuff in order to get it out, because the openings that are available are smaller now than they were when we put it in. So,
You're
we
talking
did
about
get.
the one up
We
in
kind of
the,
Yeah.
enclosed it in there now.
Yeah.
We
In the,
sealed
in
it
the top attic. And we got a lot of it out before, when the highway was there. But we need to get a couple of more pieces, big pieces out, as well as some small stuff. And that we didn't handle at that time, so I need to work up there.
You know, I'll help out too.
Okay.
It'd be good to get involved in that.
yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be good, but it'd be
No,
really.
it'd be interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, yeah.
But I think that's, takes care of what we need to do now.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, yeah.
The
So
the
very-
work- the
very
workflow
mannequins.
progress was, we made a little progress on the grant requirements. I pulled together all the documents that are needed for the PR, for the preservation restriction. And I did ask Kristen yesterday if she could move forward with the letter of intent, and she, I guess, didn't realize that she was supposed to do that. So on the 27th, February 27th, at the Select Board meeting, she will, she's asked for some of us to be present to talk about the grant, because we have, if we don't have a preservation restriction, we can't ask for the money. That's really all that needs to be said. I mean, we can put the sample preservation restriction up on the screen, or I can give, she's got it ahead of time. People, the Select Board can look at it.
What's involved in the preservation restrictions? A lot of paperwork and
Did you say
approvals?
that would be drafted by,
Yeah, it's right, it's,
by Mass Historical
yeah,
Commission?
they actually have
Yeah,
a
a
template.
basic form, yeah.
And a lot of the documents they asked for, we already
I
have.
have.
Yes.
Yeah, I put,
And so June's been just compiling those, and then I'm sure there's that additional thing. that you
I've got a
fill out.
file on that matter at the historical building that I pulled out. I noticed it and I pulled it out. I wanted to give to you to just review because it may have a couple of things in it that are helpful.
okay. If you want to see what the sample is that the MHC puts forward for people to look at, you go to the MHC website, you click on the link for the MPPF grant instructions,
Okay.
and that is on page 51 of the instruction manual. And it's all right there. It's written pretty straightforwardly. It's not.
And the people that are in charge of this whole thing are very nice. They're very nice, and they're very supportive.
Great.
Yeah.
And some of the things they'll even do for you or with you.
Yeah.
I've found
Yeah.
too. I'm going to ask you to just help me put what we all just said in a nutshell, so that I can make sure we've got it.
Well, as far as the workflow goes, we're at the tail end of the clean out, which was, I mean, we've done really well. That was a huge job. And the things that we have left are fussy, but we can manage.
So the workflow, and then,
The admin task, all we've done in addition is to get that preservation restriction material
Yeah.
together and to have our town admin bring it forward to the select board, the letter of intent to the select board. And she said also she would put in a placeholder for the warrant article.
Yeah.
yes, that was helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I got to remind her about that Monday
So if
before
we-
noontime, which is,
Yeah, so if it isn't in its final form,
well.
there is a placeholder there.
Well, the MHC gives you the language for that, too.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really have to
Do too much.
invent
Yeah.
anything,
Okay.
unless you need to customize it for some reason.
But the
Well,
idea of,
we need to proceed as soon as we can
Yeah,
to a final
yeah.
article because they do not
Yeah.
want placeholders sitting there for a long time.
uh,
Okay, well, that's good to know. The,
and Kristen will fill in the form. What is she? Oh, she's a letter of.
On the 27th, at the select board meeting, the letter of intent that the town has to sign, saying that that they'll go forward with asking the town
Yes.
to impose the preservation restriction.
And that will
And
be
we'll have
written
to-
by Kristen, is that the idea? She's
No,
handling that?
No, she doesn't even have to write it. There's a sample in the,
Okay, she just has to sign it? How is Kristen involved? That's what I don't understand.
she's the
Putting
town
it
admin.
before the board.
Yeah,
Okay, Kristen will.
and she has to sign just about everything.
It has to be signed by the board, by
And
the chair
signed
of
by
the board.
Signed by the board.
Yeah.
See, Lucy, that's what I was saying is, don't ever be afraid to ask questions, because I don't know what's going on either sometimes.
Okay.
Well,
And it helps me. It's been very helpful, some of the
It's fussy.
clarifications. Yeah, okay.
The other thing in the pre-planning phase is to identify, we haven't done any of this because we don't have a strategy figure, we haven't decided on a strategy and not only that, but that would define the cost. So we don't have any of that done yet. So we're a little behind.
But some of that may be organized when we have the
That's
call
right.
next week.
Yeah, and if we come to
To a decision on how we're going to approach
the foundation, right, then I recall that Tom Lamb said that he had contractors that he could recommend
Yes,
to
he did say that.
do the work. So,
We'd have to start that.
yeah.
And we'd
And,
have to, this was something we'd have to have bids on, is that correct?
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it would, well, I don't know. They might have to be sealed bids if they're over 50 grand.
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
good point.
yeah.
If it's under 50, then you need 3,
3, yeah.
There are
3 bids.
intermediate levels of,
yeah. And when it's under 10, then it's pretty
good business practice.
straightforward, you know.
Yeah, she did with the library.
So the other part that we've worked on is the communications. And at the end of the meeting, hopefully Janet will talk about, and Lucy will
Yeah,
talk
Lucy
about.
can talk about it.
Yeah, about how we can link, as a commission, how we can link to a society website. We did, we have done a few things. They haven't affected they haven't reached a lot of people, but Barry and I did 3 different sessions at History Matters in the fall on the Bullard House. You know, the construction, I took them around the building so they could understand when certain parts of it were built.
Yeah.
And that was on a good day, so that was fun. And then Barry talked, on the 3rd session, he talked about what the interior,
What the plans for the use of it would be.
yeah, so people could, visualize what this was going to be like.
So that's oral, is there any paperwork on that or any documentation?
I have some.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
And
there is
Barry
some.
probably does
Yeah.
too.
Well, the preservation plan has got some of that in it.
Yeah, that's in the Dropbox.
You haven't seen that? huh?
No, I have not.
And we did, also, the Powder House News, there was a small paragraph in September, I think,
Yeah.
that mentioned master planning, that was a process we were going through in order to pull this project together. And there's an opportunity now, because it's near the middle of the month, to put something in the Powder House News if Lori has room. So I don't know if anybody wants to think about doing that, but it's just another, older people read that.
Yes,
And
I
older
remember.
Yeah, older people who might not
Yeah.
go to our website
Right.
whenever we have,
Yeah.
our link.
Yeah,
So, and also Janet has put up 2 blogs on the commission webpage. Has everybody had a chance to read those?
Yeah.
With photographs?
yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah, they're neat. She did a great job.
I
So
have
the
to do that.
important part of this communication is to getting people to recognize that they're there, that they can be looked at.
Yeah.
And that, I think that's kind of
Well, maybe
missing.
that's what we should put in
Yeah.
the Powder House News.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
still a limited audience, but,
But it's
So
a
that's to a lot of
I have
people.
another thing I've written too that I haven't put out yet, that's a little lengthier, but the question it asks is, how does a house become a museum? And I list about 5 different famous houses that became museums for different reasons. So it's a little more.
That's good.
It's a little more cerebral than the other things we put out. And Lindsay, who is our college student who's helping us with all of this stuff, she made a nice flyer. I've shown it to somebody, and it's really nice, and it deals with that question. And the only thing I was going to do, we were thinking that it might be a flyer as well. You could put it on in
yeah.
print as well, but a flyer that we could have, maybe Evie would put some out on the tables or whatever.
sure.
And but just to tell them about what it is about the Bullard House that
Yeah, why
makes
is
it
it
special.
special?
Why is it special?
Yeah.
And that it's ordinary, and that's why it's special. And
Yeah.
I don't say it
'Cause
like
it
that. but-
survived.
Yeah, yeah.
It survived as a.
But I was going to tell you, I have that, and it looks really nice. Lindsay set it up nicely. It won't fit with what the style is that is used in the town website. So we have to finagle a little bit to get it out there, and that's where we're at right now. But I can put that one out now. I always wonder if we want to
Or might we want to put that on the society website when that gets up?
Yeah, yeah, because she can put it
That
on
doesn't have
in
the same
that.
rules.
Yeah, that's right. She can put it in the whatever style we want. And Lindsay chose a nice background, and it looks
Yeah,
looks
it's
Oh,
good.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've probably got a picture of it. Yeah, so, but my question was going to be, do we want to have the rest of the commission vet some of these things that involve, interpreting the history and making sure you got it accurate and all that stuff? Is that a good policy or do I just say, Barry, read this because you know the history and tell me if it's all right? I mean, how do we want to make sure that what
Well,
we're putting
Yeah.
out is historically accurate?
Content is,
And how do we go about it?
I think Barry would be the best person for that. But you're going to have to put it in front of him. Don't email it to him.
It'd be nice for everybody to take a look at it, though.
Yeah.
To see what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
What information
yeah.
you're processing.
The actual content, maybe not the
Yeah.
style or the format, but the
Yeah.
content.
The
Yeah.
content, okay,
Yeah,
I've got
yeah,
the
yeah,
content,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably a good policy, and particularly as we start to work more closely with the society, so it's broadening the people who might be putting stuff out. We don't want to be, I'm a stickler for making sure if you're telling somebody about history, that you got it as right as we possibly can.
I think that's a great
Yeah.
aim.
And just from, listening, I hear that there's a lot of different sources of ways that you're thinking of communicating and possibly are communicating now, but there's still gaps. There's still a few gaps. You're sending it to 19 Carter. Not everyone goes to 19 Carter. Not everyone goes to the website. Not everyone, and truly, I know this from experience, not everybody reads the newsletter. The Powder House News. Because I can remember, when I was writing it, people, they just didn't read it. They weren't looking at it. They were, oh, nice, oh, here's and they discard the rest of it.
Some
So-
people devour every detail, and
Yes.
some people ignore most of it.
That's right. So you've got different forms of communication. If you can try and figure out
Yeah.
what they are and how to access the rest of the people who are not being,
Yeah.
Served.
served.
Yeah.
And like I think that there's a town channel. I never look at it. Can never find it. I don't look for it. But that would be one way to do it also. Do any of you look at the web, the town channel?
I don't have
Oh, on
cable.
TV?
On
You mean
TV,
Berlin
the TV
Neighbors
channel.
Connect kind of thing?
Berlin Neighbors Connect would be one way to do it too, and
We have, in the society, it has a
Yeah.
Facebook page.
There
And-
is,
And
but
we,
it's
and I
not-
asked
it's
Rebecca
not-
to link the commission webpage to put the link in
Yeah.
so that people would go there.
but people have to know that it's there.
Yeah.
That's the
Well-
problem. You've got the links, you've got the website,
Well,
but
maybe-
people don't all know
You
that
guys
it's there.
talked about the
Maybe
idea-
then,
Well,
Mary, I
we're
don't
not
wanna
going
cut
to solve
you
it now,
off,
but it's a
Yeah.
problem to consider.
Mary, you and Mary were talking about at some point being willing to spend the $500. I mean, not right yet, but
No.
or to send out a card to everybody in town, a little card and
Yeah,
say
with all of the
this is
different
where you
links
are.
and
make it
information,
really
yeah.
something that you might even want to hang up on your refrigerator or
Refrigerator.
something. With a photo or something.
Yeah.
But do you want to say a little bit about that? The things we talked about? I mean, do you want to, you said that we
Depends
are on
on, it's
communication now?
11:15.
I think that you guys are coming up, but not right now.
Oh, I thought you had already said that we were on that. I thought that's what we were on.
They're
Yeah,
a little
good, go
further
ahead.
down.
Sorry about
We
that.
can do one or the other. You can finish, or we can just get rid
No.
of these other things first.
No, let's get rid of it.
Okay,
Let's stick
yeah,
to
okay.
this.
All right, so those are the communications, the initial preservation restriction work for the grant, and what was my second thing? Oh, the clean out
Oh,
of the Bullard House.
Yeah.
Those were the things that we made progress on. So the next agenda item is the historical collection. And I'll have Barry tell you the generous gifts we've had from Ron Ackley. But I just want to mention that we have captioned all those artifacts
oh,
that were
good.
digitized.
That we did the photos for.
Congratulations.
And It was,
Excuse me.
Barry did a lot of work to,
Oh,
she
yeah.
had to find different, you
How
know,
nice to
descriptions.
have them.
Yeah, so, and I've typed them up, and I'm going to give you my latest draft. Actually, I don't want to give you this part. Because this is my copy of your handwritten,
Well, we can work on that when we're in the,
yeah.
when we're,
But this is for you to take, unless you want me to keep it. You want me to keep it for next Wednesday?
yeah, keep it on this.
Okay. Anyway, it looks good. So when Barry is satisfied with the way I formatted it, then we can approach James to see if he would, my idea is to just do the portraits first. There are 5. Oh, do you remember the year that you were given the
Lucy Barnes.
Lucy Barnes portrait? Because that's in our description when it was actually given.
2002, 2003.
2002 or 3?
Yep,
Okay. Okay, we can add that.
yep. It was Eleanor Howes who gave it to me, Eleanor Howes.
That's neat.
Good. And you know that Barry went to visit her, and we made a print for her.
Oh, no, I did not
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, she contacted us about getting prints of it, so they'd have them for the family.
Oh, that's
And,
really great. It was
so-
beautiful.
And where we already had these other images done.
Yeah.
It was easy for June to get
Yeah,
them printed out.
I
and
had,
took 'em
I had
over
an
to her.
oversized one made that actually was probably a little larger than the original, and then we made her a 5x7 too.
Yeah. Do you have an extra one? I was thinking it might be nice to give
We
it
do.
to Phil Rainville because, I mean, that's where
Oh,
she lived.
I'll make one for Phil.
Yeah.
I gotta call Phil anyway.
I know.
He's
I
been
know.
on my mind, yeah.
I discovered a news item in one of the newspapers that we were going through that Lucy's father was, in his old age, went to the Clinton Home for Aged People.
Did he? That's interesting.
And Eleanor's apartment window looks out on the Clinton Home for Aged People,
Oh,
which is
that's
now,
great.
of course, Clinton's senior center.
Yeah.
It's changed use now, but
Yeah,
I said, oh, this is kind of neat.
it is.
Yeah. She was,
And that's how they ended up in Clinton, I'm sure. 'Cause the
Well,
Howes were in Clinton.
they had Clinton connection.
They did.
Eleanor was a Clinton girl. Her father had been in Clinton, and her family, she grew up over there.
Yeah.
But I had a nice visit with her for
yeah.
half, 3/4 of an hour.
Oh, that's great.
I had something else to say, but it's not written down, so heck with it.
It ran away.
But Barry, you want to just say a little bit about what
Oh.
we've gotten from Ronnie?
Yeah, Ronnie has given us his whole collection on Hearts on stuff. And he came earlier in the year with the big panels of trade cards and all that kind of stuff. And then in December, we got the 150 bottles. And which we've got laid out here and there in the building.
Yeah, we don't have any
They
room.
need to be gone through and
Numbered.
numbered, and putting those on glass is tricky. What Katie did years ago was a little lacquer cartouche on the bottom of each one, and then India ink write the number. But one has to get the materials and get that accomplished so that we can get numbers on them all. We do have, some of our previous ones have numbers on them, but this whole collection is just incredible with all this stuff. And this last week, I picked up some wooden boxes that have labels on them, that were the boxes that they shipped the bottles of extracts. And not only did they make medicines, but they also made extracts and things that you'd use for cooking and baking and stuff. And so we've got this whole enormous bunch of stuff now. And he also produced something that had been published, I guess, online about a little bit about the company with some pictures of some of the bottles and that stuff too. So
Amazing.
Yeah, we're gonna
It's
build
pretty
that.
amazing.
Build that up some more, and we wanna get, we had a plan, the society has a plan to do has Edith talked to you about working with her on a medicine
She
program?
has.
We've got recipes for medicines that came from Mrs. Fry's, that were her husband's, Leslie Fry's, things for making medicines and so forth. And Edith has said, to do a program about, and make a few things and so
Yeah.
forth. And
It'd
that
be fun.
And
And
hope we
the-
don't blow it.
we can
everything else.
display some of the Hearts On stuff at that time
Yeah.
as a related thing. Ronnie did a whole program on Hearts On before, 4 years ago, I don't know, 4 or 5 years
No, it
ago.
was when I first moved here.
Yeah.
Like maybe maybe 2008 or 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that long ago? Well, anyway, it was it was a June meeting.
Yeah.
And but we want to do something that gets some of this out so people get an idea of the
Yeah.
size of the collection and some of the stuff in it.
And where, is it in the curatorial building right now? Is
Yeah.
it in the curatorial building? Yeah, good.
Yeah, yeah. We've got trays and trays. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. There's 9 or 10 boxes that are with all bottles laid out in them.
It's amazing.
I had them all standing up. I took them up there in boxes, all just tightly standing up. But I said, my God, if you ever drop the box,
You lose half the collection.
you lose half the collection. And so then I took them all out of that, and I had them on the table. And I said, oh my God, if you touch this, this is like a domino thing. And so then I got them all, so they're laying down in trays of boxes. And that's okay for the moment, but we've got to in a way, we need to figure out how we can store them so that they are displayable with a minimum amount of handling. So that's going to be tricky to, maybe we'll have to make something for it, or have something made for
Yeah.
it.
Well,
I don't know.
we could take I mean, I'm sure that we can buy, but it'd probably be fairly expensive, but I know that you can buy just about anything, and there's probably,
Yeah, we need to look through the catalogs
Yeah.
for things that might work for that.
but in the meantime, we could line our flat.
Well, that's what we've got them in now, is that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
but it could be, to make it look better, we
Yeah.
could line it with some fabric.
Yeah.
Also, in the Village Power, remember those trays, those wooden,
Oh, the
There's-
wooden with the
with the lip around?
With the lip, yes, we
Yeah.
had stacks of them. Those came from a woman who was a friend of, I don't remember which family member, and she had a shop and had just dozens of them. I don't know whether we saved all of them, but we do. I'm sure we saved.
We have
some
a
of them.
few.
So we might come get a couple of those and try
See
them
how
out.
Yeah.
They might work for some of the stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
At any
where
rate,
those
that's really, it's an incredible bunch of stuff. And needless to say, there's a lot of value in it. But I don't know of another collection that's that size. That doesn't mean there isn't somebody somewhere, but it really is, it's a tremendous collection, and it's it started as a local business. It flourished after it moved away, but
And I think it's a topic that people are interested in, medicine and
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
health and.
And local businesses.
Mhm.
I think you don't think
Oh, yeah.
of something that magnitude
Yeah.
existing in Berlin,
Yeah.
right?
well, it was still small when it was here, but Dr. Hartson was involved in a lot of other things that happened. The house next door is a double tenement. I think it was an ancient house from down the street they moved up here and made into this. But he made it into the double tenement for workers. And he built the double tenement on West Street, where the Straits used to live. He built that one and was involved in that. And that was always a two-tenement double until quite recently. He was one of the leaders when they built the big shoe shop and in the Berlin Building Association in 1868. And he was very much involved in different efforts to build up the business in the community. And was incredible leader in a lot of that stuff. He had, when I was doing old houses, and I did the land across the street right here, that goes with the house that's across from the driveway coming in here. That piece of land was owned by somebody like the Atlas Glass Company for a couple of years. And that was another one of his things. And he was setting up thing to have a glass company that would make the bottles for him. And so there's a lot of ancillary things that got involved. And then when they built they had the center school here on this site, right where we're sitting here, on this land here. And when they built the new center school in 1857, and the other one moved down the street and made into a house, he had his finger in that one too. When you start doing deed work, you find him in all kinds of things around the center of town. And so his effect was very significant. And of course, when Hudson was incorporated as a separate town, they wanted Gates Pond Road area of Berlin. If you look at this map of Hudson, the west side of it looks like Pac-Man.
Oh.
And here they wanted the Gates Pond Road area of Berlin, and he argued it before the legislature and won. And they didn't get anything from Berlin. So, I mean, here's
Yeah.
Dr. Hatz on again.
Influential. Very influential.
He just keeps popping up in things. So he was
What years did he live in Berlin?
came about 1850, and of course he lived in the house next door on this end, and he had the business here. Let's say in the 1870s they moved the business to Boston. The manufacturing went to Somerville, but their offices and sales were in Boston. And then, again, in the stuff that's there in Ronnie's collection, the last few things were out of Northampton. So somebody else had the business by that time, and they still used the name, and they ran out, it moved west. Anyway.
Interesting.
Anything else about the collection?
Well, we've been working on things. One of the things we did this week was last week was we actually started putting the stuff that's been acquired in 2023 into the computer instead of handwritten on paper. And that's an interesting experience, especially when you come to what to call the object, because they have a lexicon that is very lengthy and complicated. You can't find the word you want, so you start, and you can add words, but you really want to look in there and try to find what they use.
Is Karen actually entering with you helping, or are you entering?
I'm entering, she's helping and watching and writing the numbers on the objects as we were doing them. A lot of the time, she's been writing the stuff on paper, and I've been writing it on the object. But she's getting used to doing that too.
Okay.
But she's involved when we're doing one of these. I'm going to get her to do some of the entry too.
Yeah.
But she's not a touch typist, so that's not as efficient use of land. I'll see how, I'm going to have her do it sometime, just see how it works.
Not many of us are, actually.
See how it works.
I am, but by the time I make all the corrections.
Yeah. But we actually I've been putting those in the computer and trying to do it. Our goal is for 2023 to do it all in there so that we aren't working backwards for a little while.
Yeah. Yeah, we have, you just have to go forward because it's enormous. I mean, we've never lived that long.
Well, I have right now we're in the middle of an album that Ronnie had that he gave us of other stuff from Berlin, some of which is common, and we have some other copies, and some of which is not.
Yeah,
some of
that
it
was
which
really
is
fun
copied
to
out of
look
their
at.
postcard collection and different other things. And there are a few things that are very original and interesting in it.
Just before we move on, I just want to remind people that Barry and I try to be at the curatorial building on Wednesday afternoons from 2 to 4. And if both of us can't be there, then one of us is. And that needs to be out there.
Yeah, that
You know.
needs to be
Oh,
out there.
yeah.
I mean,
That we-
I've put it out there a couple of times,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's,
To whom? Who do you want to get that out to?
anybody, it's for the public. It's a, it's a public,
The point is, somebody can
Yeah.
come in and ask to see things, somebody can come in with questions, somebody can come in with things to give us, and we've had all of those things happen. We started it when we were downstairs here,
yeah.
and we had more visitors then than we have had since we've been up here, but we do get some.
Yeah, mostly what happens is that older people know Barry and they'll call him, right? Or they'll.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, and then he'll be alerted that they want some help with something, and that's happened a few times.
And, they want
What time?
2 to
to find
4.
out about something, and I'll say, well, come between 2 and 4 on Wednesdays, and we'll try to help you. you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll bring this up later.
okay. So, let's see. So next Friday, not only do we need to Zoom at 11, but we're having our public hearing for 136 Central Street here
Did that get in the
7:30.
paper?
at
Did that
7:30.
get in the paper?
I hope so. It was,
Should
I
be.
haven't seen it in the items.
you haven't. It should have been in the last one. This is,
Should have been in last Friday and
this is what,
today.
this
Yeah,
is how you have to put those things in now.
I didn't see it in last Friday's.
Mrs. Mary Rada set that up and put it into them and requested it, so we've got to verify whether it got there.
Was that an article or under events?
It's
It
a-
should
it's
be
a
under
notice.
the classifieds.
The classified,
Classified. Oh,
public
Yeah, and there were a
hearing notice.
couple of
stuff.
them for like Sterling or something, but I didn't see this one last week, and I thought, oh, but it
Yeah,
should come out
it
today.
should have been in there.
Oh, I see, okay.
Well, that's not
If it
good.
didn't get in last week, we can't do the hearing.
See, I
on that date.
didn't see it either.
Oh,
It
okay,
it wasn't in the item last week.
okay.
And I thought, oh, did he put it in the Worcester paper? And
No, just put it in the item.
So what do we,
It's a lot cheaper.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, but
so what do we do now?
Well, we'll check on it.
Yeah,
and
make sure.
If it didn't appear, then we will have to revise and start over. That's one of the things.
They have like a delay if you don't get it in, because I was just dealing with this
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago. If you don't have it in by a specific time, it will be a week later,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, and I
So
don't
it might
know.
not
yeah,
have
'cause
been
it
in there
comes
in
out once a
time.
week.
It only comes out once a week.
Once a week.
How far
That's
ahead
what-
do we have to post a hearing?
2 weeks and 1 week.
Okay,
2 weeks and 1 week. It's been
So we
posted.
just have to
It's been
change the
posted
date on the
here in
hearing.
the town hall, but it hasn't been,
In the paper.
if it wasn't in the paper, then we'll have to repost. I'll check on it.
I asked Marcia, because she gets the item, but she didn't respond, so.
Okay. Well, if you look for it and you didn't see it, then,
I looked for it and didn't see it.
yeah.
Well, that's not
No, it
good.
should be in the legal notices.
Yeah, and this classifieds, and there's not a lot of
It
them
wouldn't
anymore, so
count,
it's
if
not-
it went in on the 24th. No, I mean,
No, it went in,
if it went in on the 17th,
it went in on the 30th. Monday, the 30th, to be in on Friday.
the 3rd.
I don't think that was long enough.
But I don't know if there was any reply to that from them.
You're thinking that that wasn't enough time?
I don't think so.
It could be.
Like you'd probably need to put it in a week and a half ahead of time.
Yeah, you do.
If they publish it on the 17th, would that count for the evening, for having us know?
No. Because the bylaw says it has to be a week and 2 weeks ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so, well,
And are we all right with doing it that late in terms of how long it's been since we did the inspection or whatever?
Well,
is there
that's
a
the
time?
other thing I've got to check. I've got to go back
Okay.
and check all of those
Okay.
things.
Because we have a deadline, right, to
Yeah, it's a certain amount of time.
Yes, we do.
Okay, well, we'll just have to verify or not, and Barry, let us know.
That's a copy of the bylaw that we operate under.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so
can keep that.
our last is about, how we can take advantage of being linked to the,
Yeah.
So yesterday, we were looking at what Mary has already done, which is pretty good. She's got some, she wants to update some of these pictures. I think she's probably been looking to you to get some of these pictures updated.
She
'cause
called
this is
Marty.
old. Oh, Marty.
Yeah.
Okay. Because this was taken like in 2003, way back. I think I took it.
Well, it's not significantly different.
It's not significantly different, but it's the quality of the picture. They're looking for a better quality to post online.
The building won't be better quality.
No.
but the picture will.
Oh, now.
The building looks really good.
Yeah, it looked good in that picture. I like that.
It's
I
just
love
the
one.
quality of the.
we have a lot of pictures that are more recent.
More
Yeah.
recent.
And a lot that have been taken as digital photographs.
They're born digital.
So far what she has
But
here.
I want a picture that's got good paint on the house.
Yeah.
I don't want it the way it looks now.
No, this is not what you want.
Well, you could Photoshop a few things, I suppose.
But that wouldn't be honest, would it? So basically, she's got the, she started the webpage for the Historical Society and also started a link, and actually, some of this for the Historical Commission. The Historical Society is blue, so I suggested that she take this in, because you can scroll down and just extend this line down here so that you're still in the Historical Society or the Commission. But it's linked already, and she's willing to do some of the work, to input for that information. But obviously, we need to get some information to her, stories and pictures and different things like that. So, I mean, I think it would be better myself to have a separate, something separate from that. The Historical Commission should have its own website that links link it to the Historical Society as well as back and
Can't the
forth.
commission be on the town website?
It can if you.
We have a web page.
Do you have a web page there?
Yeah.
And Janet has posted 2 blogs.
Oh, that's right. So this is what I'm saying, there's a couple different areas where information is being communicated, so we need to pull it together so that we're all looking at the same things and know what's out there.
But
So-
they are distinct. I mean,
They are
there is a
distinct.
difference between the two.
Yeah.
And, I mean, one of the things the town website won't let us do, I mean, your stuff that you put on for the town website for the society years ago,
Is no longer.
they've cut most of it out because they won't
They
won't
can't.
put out the things we sell, they won't put out a membership form, they won't,
Actually, did I tell you the membership
Membership form
form
is still there?
is not on the society page?
Yeah.
But it's under forms.
Oh, it's under forms,
Oh, wow, that's great.
And it's sort of it's not dated.
but it's not supposed to be.
So part of this is to find out, and I'll take this on, is to find out what the town needs, where it is, and I'll look for it and find as much as I can, as much information as I can, what they are interested in putting in there, what you can put there, what you can't put on there if you can't sell different items. But then we have to come up with a way, if the Historical Society does not have to deal with all of the rules for the town, they can put articles that need to be sold
Yes.
on there.
On lots of other stuff.
on the
Yeah,
go-
Lots
and
of other
lots of other
subjects.
stuff.
Yeah.
And they also can put, I mean, for instance, the stuff on working on the bullet house that we're doing now with town money, we want to put on the town website as the commission. But when we're talking about programming the building and, future exhibits and that stuff, that could be in the society's bucket. And therefore, they've got a lot more freedom in what we can do with it in
Yeah.
terms of interpreting it. And as long as the two things are linked, so you can get from one to another, that's fine.
The question that came to my mind was, is it important then to make it really clear who posted this? Because if we're linking to something that we wouldn't be allowed to post ourselves,
Yeah.
is it all right for us to put it on if it says that it's from the society, or is that not all right? Because
That's
that's
a
what's
good
going to
question.
happen if we just link them without knowing
Right.
what we can actually
The
link.
linkage will have to just, if that's the case, then the linkage can only go from the society
I'd
to
say
the
it
commission.
can only go one way.
Yeah. You wouldn't
Or
say
do you mean
anything.
the other way around?
No.
You know, it go from the society to the commission,
commission.
but it can't go from the commission to the society.
Yeah.
But there are certain things a society will have that would then be coming to us that we aren't supposed to post. Or am I just hearing it wrong?
No, I think you're hearing it right. But there should be some way for the commission to be able to link over to the society. We'll just have to find out. what
I don't
details.
see why stuff can't, why
I mean, you
can't
can
have a
say
link?
you are moving from this website to this website.
Yeah.
You know, I see that all the time.
Good point.
You
So
know-
they'll know it's society and not
Right.
commission, because they
Yeah.
have to tap the thing that says
Yeah.
Yeah.
link to society.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that seems like that covers
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You know, so there's just a
Yeah.
few things, to be, and I don't, who's in charge of the town website now?
There isn't any way for me to
don't-
make any changes.
So,
When
Garth is
Tom
the one-
Galvin had it when he was here, and I
Right.
don't know if they put somebody in charge of it since.
They
Okay.
haven't. At least that's what they're telling me.
You know, Jane, well, we can ask.
Well, Tom Galvin had charge
You
of it,
probably
and
could ask, what's her name? the
Coleman,
secretary.
Yeah,
Jack
Garth
Coleman
all
was
that
actually
stuff,
doing the
wasn't
stuff.
she?
Yeah.
Well,
But he moved to
Certainly,
Sterling and
James
James
finally
has,
does.
got extricated from it. And Galvin, of
James
course,
has
is left.
posted
Is
So-
gone, yeah.
So I don't know who
For
has
us.
got control over that right
But-
now. And
James probably has.
Let me see, James
yeah.
I don't think is officially necessarily in control of some of those things,
Yeah.
but he
He
knows a
knows
lot, so
about
they go to
Yeah,
him.
they
go
So
to him,
what-
yeah.
I can investigate that, or them if you want, but I'd be happy to see if I can find out, and if he doesn't know, who would know.
Yeah, they need a webmaster.
But are you, it sounds like you're willing to really take on this type of
Some of
project?
it,
Some of
Some of it.
Some of it, yeah.
Not the no, you don't have to do all the content. I
No,
think
no,
we
no.
supply you with content too,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking
But
in
no,
terms
the-
of figuring out stuff like this with Mary.
Yeah, see, and finding out, that's what she's got so far.
This is your stuff. That's here.
Yeah.
Here.
What's my stuff?
Society.
The society, the commission, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the
This is the
commission.
commission stuff.
Yeah. And that's pretty much what's on the website right now. That is currently linked to the society page.
Yeah.
The Facebook
Before we
page.
finish this discussion, I would just like to ask a question about content, but I don't want to switch off of
No, go ahead.
how to make this happen. So content, I have this feeling that to try to do, a really organized, everything's on a thread of some sort and things connect and all, that it might make sense that it's okay if, I don't want to say random, like disorganized, but it's okay if one week something comes out that's, like, for example, showing the guys moving the furniture. And then the next week, it's something that Barry writing about the history of a certain moment in the Bullard House or
Yeah.
whatever. Is that all right that we're not going to be, it's not going to be like a lesson that if you read all of these in order, you'll know everything you need to know? Is it right to be kind of
No, I think it's
random?
perfectly fine the whole concept of blog
Yeah.
is to be that.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about this, and next time it's about that, and it's stream of consciousness from somebody.
Well, the 19 Carter blog was definitely chronological. I mean, the blog described and pictured what had just happened.
Yeah,
And so that actually was very useful when they did the book,
Yes,
because the blog was a record of all those things that happened early on.
yeah.
But I think we're juggling a bunch of different things, right? I mean,
Yeah, it
the
doesn't
Bullard
have to
House
be
is only a part
chronological,
of the whole
But
That's right.
picture.
But it will be as far as the project goes. I mean,
The project
it can be.
content.
Yeah, the projects.
Yeah, it
Maybe
can
we
be.
could even have the same little heading each time we're going to tell you what the most recent
Well,
step on the
that's-
project is.
That's what you do. You have headings
Yeah.
for different, so the projects can be in chronological order, but then also the work on the Bullard House can be in chronological order. You know, so you're not interspersing, but I would think that you should be able to highlight some, like what's new,
Yeah.
and have it linked to
Yeah.
something.
Well, and I wonder, it could when you're going to say something about the next step with the Bullard House, could it always have some key thing in the heading so they know, oh, this is a Bullard House
Yeah.
Yeah.
thing?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a visual cue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but also, like, you want to be able to search. That was my question, too. I forgot to ask her. Are you able to search on any of these things? Because that's my,
You know,
I don't know.
but you...
Maybe that's a refinement of her.
It's a refinement, but you can, in the way that you set up the page, you can set it up so that you can search on specific items.
Yeah, well,
that would be nice if we
Yeah.
could do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I don't know, this would be with GoDaddy and with the town website?
Yeah, and I don't think the town website is not based on GoDaddy.
No.
No, I'm just saying we've got those two separate
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, you can.
So
Yes.
you'd want to be able to search and, you'd want them to provide that,
Yeah.
Part,
Each one
yeah.
for their own website,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
not for
Yeah.
everything. Yeah. Because you would not want to go from the town website and search on the
Yeah.
Historical Society,
Yeah.
because that would be confusing. You don't want to do
And
it
probably
first.
an early posting should be something about what's the difference between the commission and the society, because,
Exactly. Then
Yeah.
we were talking about that
Yeah.
yesterday. What is the difference between the commission and the society? Because, we talked about different projects that would be kind of fun for people in the town to get involved in. And one of them I mentioned to you, Barry, is cleaning up the stones at the cemetery, which would be, is that society or is that commission?
Cemetery commission.
Then I realized, like,
But your
you could
volunteers
pull-
can come from anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Your
But you
volunteers can come from anywhere.
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing you do it's a program activity.
Yeah.
And my view is it's going to be the society and the cemetery commission as opposed to the historical commission. That doesn't mean there are towns where the historical commission has taken that on.
Yeah, and you're
But
pulling in different.
My
different
thought is,
groups.
in our situation with the historical commission being so busy with the building and all that, I'd rather make that a community project under the society and the cemetery commission, because the cemetery commission's got the basic responsibility
Yeah.
for it in town.
Yeah, and I think that's what we finally came up with.
Yeah.
But it would be, and just different projects. I don't want to go into detail, but you've mentioned this before with you, is to do a gardening program, and Ally is probably one of the people that would be involved with that, right? And just,
And I can do two.
no.
just one person. But, and it's just to add to the outside of the Bullard House, and just
Oh,
try
yeah.
and replicate something. And it's a longer term project. Once
But,
you've
well,
figured out.
You had a garden club in town some years ago,
Yeah.
quite successfully for several years.
Yep.
And then it petered away. And the point is that you could start another group like that
Exactly.
as part of this, under the society's aegis.
This is a very good example, I think, of, do we want to be teaching, listen to me, I'm a teacher, but teaching history? Do you want to be showing people historical things, which might make it a little different from Garden Club? It could be
Yeah.
an offshoot of the Garden
Yeah.
Club.
Yeah.
But, we'd want to, I would want to see us do the research. You know, I think it would be really cool if we could have a little 2 or 3 tree orchard, just try in a very small space, do a little sort of microcosm of the different things that people might have had
Yeah.
in
Oh,
that
definitely.
yard in order to eat.
Melissa,
in
you
order
and I
to-
were talking about the chicken house.
yeah. And I think there's a great limitation to that. But that's where that question can come up, and we certainly aren't going to solve it now.
No.
Is at what point is it all right to do modern, and at what point is it an opportunity to do historic? And it may be a mix of commission members and society members, but I almost feel like since we're working with grants that need historic an element to them and all, I almost feel like the commission we may find ourselves keeping a sharper eye on whether what somebody is suggesting we do as an activity could be done and still bring a little more history into it.
Yeah.
And not that every single thing has to, but somebody's got to be, and Barry, I think you're very good about this, and in fact, you're very hesitant to put things out there that you can't say definitively is really good research, and so.
You
I
want to
think
say
that
things that you can defend, and you
Right,
want to
right.
couch your terms so that what you say is, you can feel is correct, and perhaps leave some questions unanswered.
But how nice to go, and if you were to go and visit the garden club or whatever, I don't know how that works, and say, let me talk to you about historically how we could merge the beauty of a garden club with history.
And I guess we don't have to solve this now because we have about 8 more minutes for you.
The Strawberry Bank has wonderful gardens. We
Yeah.
should
They
go and
do.
How
visit,
is your
yeah.
agenda?
Yeah, but how are we doing here?
We're doing fine. We're actually, unless, I just want to say that Mary Reddington can come with her society website information
On Tuesday.
on Tuesday. Can you come to a board meeting on Tuesday night?
Tuesday night, yes.
Yeah, 7:30.
At Memorial Hall.
So I need to get back to Mary, but I wanted to,
Yeah.
Is that just to meet with us? Is that what
and
that
and
is?
you
No.
should come also.
Well,
Any
What
of
is
us
that?
should come.
What is that one?
It's a society board meeting.
Oh, I should know about these.
Anybody could be welcome and one of the things that would be discussed there is a society website.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I can get back to Mary
Yeah.
and invite her.
Yeah.
She
but
said she's available
Yeah.
and would be happy to come. And then,
We do have some business I want to do otherwise, but
yeah.
And Mary's in the society, right? I mean, you're talking about Mary Redding? Oh, no, you're talking about,
Yes, I am.
Mary
Reddington,
Reddington.
okay.
Yeah, we're talking about, that's a society
She's
thing.
not
It
a
really
board
not is our
member,
business.
but
right.
we would like all this work
Okay.
that she
She's
started.
she's
and-
working on the Hearst House project, and she's working on the website.
The
Yeah.
website.
Business file.
Yeah, that was,
See, and this was part of what she was doing. This was the link, and she was asking
Yeah.
for information
Yeah,
on this.
yeah.
So I guess we have to decide or find out if this can be linked from the society to the commission, which it sounds like it should not be. The commission should have its own website, and this should be written by the commission with Mary's information.
Well, the
on it.
society, by its bylaws, is to be supportive of the commission. And the commission has legal responsibilities and town, things it has to do. And as a whole, how you split all of that up is it's a moving target.
Yeah.
It's a moving target. But there are things that we have to do legally as the commission, and those are the things we should do in that. And program and some of that, the society can take most of the lead on. Even if some of us are the same people are
I
involved.
could say we're on.
But the point is,
yeah,
I just see that as, program and dealing with the public and, operating a museum. The society can do a lot of that work. The commission doesn't have to do it all. And the commission has, you know, takes the legal thing and has the relationship in town government. But you want to be able to bring more people into it without sticking them with the legal responsibilities.
Right.
Like the home demolition.
Exactly.
So Barry, where do you find out this information, what the responsibility of this commission is
Well,
versus
the best thing is to
society?
to have me sit and talk and answer questions and
When can we do
try
that?
to define that. Anytime, I'm around all the time.
Okay.
And, you know, online, if you go online and start looking up the role of societies, or
Yeah, I'm sure.
it's different in different towns, so you really
Oh,
have to know
very
what your
different.
own town wants to do. But it is good to look at the Mass Historical Commission thing that Galvin, is that his name? Yeah, has on his website that tells you what they see as the role of the commission and the role of the society. And then we can,
We need to adjourn the meeting.
Our society
Any other business?
is unique in the way that it is tied up with the town.
I'll move that we adjourn.
Second motion.
Okay, all those in favor?
All right.
Aye.